59-18, and my Michigan Wolverines are 10-1, control their own destiny, heading into the game. This game here was, perfect. Well, near perfect. There were some mistakes. We'll get to some of that later. But listen, 59-18, you cannot complain at all about a victory like that. 41 points margin of victory. Michigan is now 9-2 against the spread. Their only losses when it comes to the spread were to Michigan State and Rutgers, and only one of them ended in an actual loss on the field. If you're new to this channel, give a like, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and comment your thoughts down below. Today I'm going to give my reaction to this game and just explain my thoughts about it. And my thoughts are this. Listen, it started off pretty meh. Michigan punted. Maryland got, in position to score first. They missed the field goal. And that's the story with Maryland. We know what Maryland is. Maryland is a team who is not well disciplined. And they often fail to execute. And they did exactly what they normally do. Exactly that. That's what they did. Missed field goal leads to a Michigan touchdown, a 70-yard drive. Teams exchange punts. Maryland punts another Michigan touchdown. It's 14-0 end of the first quarter. Maryland goes on a 6-minute drive, which is probably one of the not so encouraging things, as Maryland had moments where they could drive on us. They made it 14-3. We failed to convert on downs. They punted again. We scored again, where JJ McCarthy passed to Mike Sanistril for 13 yards. That was a beautiful pass. I was glad to see JJ in again. I do think, listen, he struggled against Michigan State. I actually think still, even though Cade is obviously better for the starting job, I think we will need JJ to beat Ohio State in some capacity to make our offense less vanilla. JJ makes our offense less vanilla and enables us to, run a read option or run the quarterback on the outside, or for him to come out of the pocket, convince you he's going to run, and then he makes a downfield pass. We need kind of a guy who can make plays on his own. It was 24-3 at the half. The third quarter, the teams scored 43 combined points. Maryland turned it over on downs. Then the teams combined had 6 straight scores. A Michigan touchdown drive that made it 31-3. It was a result of a Hassan Haskins run. Maryland having a touchdown pass and a drive that was only 4 minutes. Michigan returning a kickoff, pardon me. Maryland punted it to Michael Barrett, I believe is his name, who then backwards lateraled it to A.J. Henning, who ran it 81 yards for the touchdown, 38-10 Michigan. Maryland then, of course, scoring a touchdown with a Talia Tagovailoa run, getting the 2-point conversion, and from there Maryland fell apart. A long pass from Cade McNamara, an interception returned by DJ Turner, and JJ McCarthy running it in for a touchdown. And the reason I am kind of explaining this game in a more vanilla way, like kind of walking you through, is unlike the Michigan State Ohio State game where the result was whoa. This game is kind of an exaggeration of what I thought would happen. Michigan just coming in, doing business, and wanting to get out of there. We didn't score more than 7 points in the fourth quarter. After 13:40 in the fourth, we wanted to get out of there. We played Alan Bowman and Dan Villari and let them even throw the ball. That should tell you something. And with that, here come my takeaways. And it's simple. Michigan and Ohio State, because I know Ohio State fans along with Michigan fans, that's my biggest fan base that is subscribed to me. Both teams had very good games. Ohio State obviously had the more impressive win of the two, of 56-7, really 49-0 win over a top 10 team, whether they were somewhat fraudulent or not, is much more impressive than beating Maryland 59-18. But Michigan has just really one negative, and because of that, like the Ohio State reaction, we'll talk about the negative first, because there are a lot more positives. The concern, the run defense, again, and yes, part of it is because Talia Tagovailoa is athletic and is talented. Again, it burned us. We let Maryland rush for nearly 200 yards, 181 rushing yards, for 4.1 yards per rush. That is nothing to be proud of. And if you think, well, our rush defense is like the strength of this team, no. Unlike previous Michigan teams, mostly Don Brown defenses, this defense is far better. And I think part of that is more of, like, you know, the 3-4 build in a certain sense that Mike McDonald runs here, the more Raven NFL-style defense. Instead of blitzing all the time and stacking the box and bullying people, we only do it when we find it needed. We held Maryland to 178 passing yards and got a pick six. And Maryland only passed for 5.4 yards per pass. That is not that good. Maryland ran for 4.1 yards per rush and 181 yards. So Michigan continues to show signs of weakness when stopping the run. Maryland, you know, they had a long run of 25 by Tayon Fleet-Davis. Talia Tagovailoa had that long touchdown run in which he made one of our linebackers look like he was completely unaware. So Maryland, I know, and I said this to some people about when they played Michigan State, I'm like, listen, they have explosiveness in the run game, and I think I said this in my preview video with Michigan too. But nonetheless, we allowed 4.1 yards rushing to, you know, Maryland, and we've done this to other teams as well. We let Penn State, I think, run pretty well at times. If you take out the sacks, at least, we let Kevon Lee run right through us many times. I mean, the obvious weakness of this team is stopping the run. It's not stopping the pass, which brings me to the positives. The defense, speaking of the defense, was able to adapt after a bad third quarter. You know, 15 points in the third, I was thinking when the score was 52-18, I'm like, cool. We got a pick six and all that stuff, but Maryland will probably make it 25 points. They'll score more, and it's not only going to not look good because Maryland scored points on Michigan, it's showing even more weakness. And no, we shut them down after that pick six. And that's a positive. We only allowed Maryland to have 359 total yards. We forced a turnover. We sacked him twice. Vincent Gray was one of those who actually had a sack. What a much better year he has had this year than he did last year. We outgained Maryland by 4 first downs as well. And Michigan overall really out-executed Maryland and did better than Maryland. I mean, I was watching this game with my friend, and we both agreed that if Maryland could execute, this game for the first half could have been a 1-possession, maybe 2-possession game. Maryland has a lot of talent and potential. They just don't execute right. I mean, they are one of the leaders in the Big Ten, I think, in penalties per game. So Maryland's issue is just execution, which is something that Michigan has been pretty good at this year, executing their game plan. Another positive Michigan has plenty of playmakers and has depth. And when I say that, I mean, look at Donovan Edwards. He's an example of depth and a playmaker. Blake Corum is out. He's the more explosive running back. I mean, with Hassan Haskins, he'll get the job done, but that makes our team even less explosive and almost more vanilla than it already is. Donovan Edwards comes in, has 10 receptions for 170 yards and a touchdown, 17 yards per reception. That's insanity. He's a true freshman. Another example of this is, again, JJ McCarthy. 5 of 5, 58 yards, 11.6 yards per pass, and a touchdown, and a 99 QB rating. He's a true freshman. Andrell Anthony, he only had 1 reception for 18 yards. It was still a pretty good catch. And if you watch the Michigan State game, that's, again, another true freshman that shows depth. And our cornerbacks, outside of that 1 touchdown pass, we were covering very nicely. Taulio was 19 of 33 for 178 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Our secondary, despite Jamon Green being injured, it's good. It's played pretty well all year, and it's played pretty well despite his injury. And him and Corum made the trip to Maryland. I assume they were rested, and I assume, hopefully, but likely as well, that one or both of them will be active for the Ohio State game. And one more positive. Michigan's red zone problems are improving. They're consistently improving. Michigan, had one field goal. And you look at this, and Mike Sanistril, 13-yard pass, Hassan Haskins, 1-yard run, Luke Schoonmaker, 2-yard pass, Hassan Haskins, another 1-yard run, and then JJ McCarthy, 5-yard TD run. Outside of one drive at the end, in which was called back for a penalty by Haskins, which some said it was questionable, but I thought it was pretty obvious, the chop block. We only had one field goal try on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on the 6 times we were in the red zone. The 6 times we were in the red zone. And I get it's Maryland. Maryland does not have a good defense. It's not like MAC level defense, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Nonetheless, it's good because we were having struggles in the red zone with teams that had bad defenses. Northwestern is an example of that. And I think another example was even Western Michigan and some other teams as well. We had trouble and struggled in the red zone. Rutgers is another good example of that as well. And even Indiana. But anyway, that's just good news in my opinion, because we're going to need to get it to punch it in the red zone against Ohio State. And the fact that against Penn State, we had only 3 touchdowns. Against Maryland, we only had 1 field goal, and we had 8 touchdowns. If we can do this, continue this trend against Ohio State, we actually have a chance. But settling for multiple field goals against the Buckeyes is not something we should strive to do. So it's good that even though the game plan hasn't necessarily improved, and I don't expect it to because Harbaugh is this very stubborn head coach. He hasn't changed in his 7th year of being here. He's changed some stuff, but he's not changed enough, and it hurts. But the players are executing better, and it's just all flowing very nicely. It feels like Michigan is regaining its confidence and is entering the Ohio State game with momentum, and Ohio State's doing the exact same thing. This isn't a preview video for the OSU Michigan game, but I'm very excited about this game. I've been looking forward to discussing it, watching it, and reacting to it for quite some time now, probably a few months. So I'm very pumped that this is for the East. But overall, Michigan had an impressive performance. Cade McNamara, 21 of 28, 259 yards, and 2 passing touchdowns. He's 15th in total QB rating according to ESPN. He's tied 3rd in the nation for, the amount of interceptions thrown. And what I mean by that is he's thrown the 3rd least amount of picks of any quarterback. He's only thrown 2. And I think he's only had 3 total turnovers. I think his only lost fumble was against Penn State away. And I think he's also had maybe 1 rushing touchdown. So you take all of that into effect here, and he has a 5-1. That's right. A 5-1 touchdown to turnover ratio. That's pretty darn good. I mean, that's not elite. It's not elite by any means. That's not like CJ Stroud or Bryce Young levels, but that's pretty darn good. And he has a 7-1 touchdown interception ratio for passing, which for the amount that he's used is kind of expected, but still pretty good execution. He has the 2nd highest passer rating for now out of any Harbaugh QB. Only 2018 Shea Patterson had better stats. And outside of Cade, Hassan Haskins had 78 rushing yards. He's crossed the 1,000-yard mark, ran for 3.9 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. And again, Donovan Edwards, he had 8 yards rushing on the ground, not a whole lot. His long was 4, but he had a 77-yard touchdown reception through the air, 170 yards. So, this team, listen, I'm not the biggest fan of Harbaugh, and if he beats Ohio State, that might change, because, yes, I do want him to succeed here. But the team that he has this year, is something else. If you would have told me that we would have been 10-1 heading into the Ohio State game, I wouldn't be exuberant. That would be 11-1. If you told me we were at 11-1 entering that game, I would be jumping up and down. But 10-1, it's a lot better than 8-3 or 9-2 or lo and behold 7-3. Not 7-3. Well, yeah, actually, I don't know. Don't even listen to what I'm saying. You get the point. But 10-1, seriously, who would have thought this team would be 10-1 entering the OSU game? That's the first time Michigan has been 10-1 hosting Ohio State since 1997. So I'm excited. You all should be excited, whether you're a Buckeye or a Michigan fan. I don't care what the spread is or the probabilities to win. But this Michigan team is good. They're gritty. They, don't care about past mistakes. They're all about looking forward. And this isn't telling you to drink the Kool-Aid. This is just my opinion. We should be excited. Honest to goodness. And that's really all I have to say for this preview video. So thank you all for watching. If you like this video, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and comment your thoughts down below. What did you think about this game? Did you think that Michigan looked really impressive even though it was just Maryland? Or were you expecting something like this? And also tell me just a little sneak preview of your own thoughts on the Michigan-Ohio State game. Who do you think wins that game and by how much? Tell me down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys around.